my channel. My channel is all about being a mom and raising 3 boys in a city in a country I did not grow up in. Today I have my husband Dewey with me, and we're going to be starting a series about why we live in Cambodia. Last week we did the introduction, and I'm really excited about the series. I'm looking forward to it. So the 3 things that we're going to kind of be covering today are how we met, our first trip over here, and about our wedding. So Dewey, you want to start it off?
Sure, yeah. First of all, we've been married for just over 8 years. We both attended the same Bible school. It was, I think, maybe the first week of Bible school. We happened to be sitting down eating lunch close to at the same table, and I started talking to her just to kind of figure out who she was and stuff, and I figured out that she was interested in mission work and that she had spent some time in mission work in the past, which I had as well.
So when did I start liking Dewey? So when we were at Bible school, I noticed him and I thought he was a really great guy. One thing I noticed was with sports and stuff, playing volleyball, basketball, he wouldn't get super mad on the court and handled himself really maturely. And then also in the classes and stuff, he asked a lot of good questions and was definitely a mature Christian and wanting to figure things out and asking good questions and thinking through things for himself. And I really appreciate that about him. And so I kind of started liking him, but I didn't tell anybody, because at places like this, if you tell one person, pretty soon a bunch of people know. And so I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want to get my heart broken either. I did not want to get hurt. So let's see. Yeah, I was just really curious if he liked me or not. And when he would message me every morning on AIM and say good morning, I was kind of maybe he does like me, but maybe I'm just reading into it too much. So yeah, when I finally figured out that he for sure did like me was the night before we left on choir. He wanted...
Can I jump in here?
Yeah.
Okay. So as time went on, I enjoy singing, but for some reason I hadn't signed up for a choir tour that term, but Stacey did. So the whole term I knew that she was going to be able to go on a choir tour and I wasn't, which choir tour is a great time just to interact with the students more, but also just to travel and see the States and all that stuff. So I knew that Stacey was going to be able to go do this and I wasn't going to. But yeah, the night before we left,
The night before we left, Dewey came and asked for my phone number so that way he could message me during the trip to see how it was going. That's what he said. And I just remember my heart started pounding. I was like, oh my goodness, this boy's asking for my phone number. Does he like me? And let's see. Yeah, I figured he probably liked me at that point, but I wasn't sure.
Just before Stacey left to go back to her state, her home, I'd actually talked to her and said, hey, I'm interested in starting a relationship with you. Are you interested in the same? If so, what are the next steps forward? I was pretty sure she was, but I wasn't 100% sure. So we decided that, yeah, we would start contacting each other. She wanted to talk to her mom about it. So yeah, and her mom wanted to sit down and chat with me a little bit, so we actually went out and got supper. She had a bunch of questions to ask. A really good time. But then after that, Stacey still wanted some time to
I was pretty hard on him.
She was really hard on me.
Well, like I said, I did not want to just give my heart away and get it broken. If we were going to date, I wanted to be serious about it, and I wanted to make sure this was the right thing to do.
We actually started dating right around April the 30th, 2009, I think it was. Sure, somewhere in there.
He does so good at remembering dates, way better than me.
And then that following, I think October or November, we had actually got a group of students and some of our friends around and said, hey, let's go to Asia. So we came, we spent about a month or so traveling around Southeast Asia. We spent some time, about 2 weeks I think, in Cambodia. Spent some time in Thailand, Vietnam I think maybe? Myanmar, China, yeah. I think it was Cambodia, Thailand, China, Myanmar. I'm not sure if I went to Vietnam. In fact, I don't think we did, but maybe. Anyhow, Yeah, what did you think of Cambodia during those 2 weeks that you got to spend here?
Yeah, I was really worried about it because I knew you felt called to Cambodia, and I would say that I felt called to mission work somewhere, whether that was in the States, in my home area, or in a different country. I just didn't know where. And I was really worried about it because I was dating Dewey and I knew he felt called to Cambodia, and like, what was I going to think of Cambodia? But I was worried about this the whole trip. I think Cambodia was like the last country we went to, and like before we were getting ready to come here, I had gotten sick, really physically sick. And when you're getting ready to do a 24-hour bus ride, like you don't want to have diarrhea. Like that's the last thing you want to have. That's a little TMI. But anyway, I might have just been the stress of everything. So yeah, the night before, I just surrendered it to God, and I was like, I'm not going to worry about whether I think I can live in Cambodia for years or not. I'm just going to go to Cambodia, see what it's like, take it in one day, one moment at a time, and not stress about it. So that's what I did, and we came to Cambodia, and it was really hot, but I ended up really liking it. What really got me was the kids. There's a lot of street kids, especially back then there was more, and they just have a way of wiggling their way into your heart.
So yeah, after that trip went back. Leading up to that point, as our dating relationship progressed, I knew that Stacey was the one that I wanted to ask to marry. And
hey, so I'm just jumping on here real quick to say that this video is getting too long, so we're going to come out with a video later with more details about how we met, how he asked me out, and the story of how he proposed to me. And this video, I'm just inserting the highlights into it.
And whenever she turned back around, I was down on one knee.
It was so sweet. He got down on one knee. And like I turned back around, I was just so surprised. I just couldn't believe it.
So yeah, obviously she said yes. So we got engaged, I think it was like the end of February. And then we set a date for our wedding to be in July. So our wedding day was July 17th, 2010.
The one thing I wanted to mention too is like we had done and we're doing long distance relationship dating, which there's definitely a difference between like living in the same area and living different areas. We were like about nine hours apart. So we would like go a month without seeing each other and then be together for one weekend. So it was like not being together and then being together was really intense for an intense weekend. So it's definitely different. It's got a set of challenges. We definitely talked on the phone a lot, and we were text messaging back and forth during this time, and yeah, but it's definitely hard to do long distance relationship. But I mean, we had a lot of fun too, like, yeah. We were engaged about 5 months, and it was definitely a busy 5 months and a short time to plan a wedding, but at the same time, like, it did seem like it took forever for our wedding to get there, so I wouldn't have wanted it much longer. We got married in Virginia. And then how did we decide where we were going to live?
We decided we're going to spend, because at that point we knew that we're coming back to Cambodia. We decided we're not going to buy a house, we're not going to get in debt or anything like that. So we're like, let's live somewhere where we can rent a house for cheap. And my dad had a little cabin that we actually rented for really cheap. And so we actually lived our first year out there in Indiana. But yeah, it did take a bit of time to figure out where we're going to live, kind of the steps. We wanted to make sure we got to spend some time with my family before we moved to Cambodia. We wanted to spend some time making sure we got to know Stacey's family a little bit better before we came over. The general advice is after you get married to settle in one area for at least a year just to get to know each other.
He's mine. Is this my name?
Yeah.
Take one for you and one for Zeta. Come on, back upstairs. Take one for Zeta.
This is not Zane, it's mine.
Okay. We knew we wanted to come back to Cambodia, but we weren't exactly sure the time frame. In the next video, we'll talk more about after we got married and the whole process of deciding what organization we're going to go with, who our home sending church is going to be, and just all of that stuff. So, yeah.
So in the next video, we're also going to talk about what he mentioned and a little bit about our infertility journey and then the birth of our twins. So stay tuned, that should be fun and interesting. And make sure you subscribe so you can know when our next video comes out. Thank you for watching, bye!